Can you answer this? Are you living or simply surviving? The applause ends. Not because you failed, because the meeting is over. One chair scrapes against the polished floor. Another follows. The conference room empties until only the projector hums against the silence. A crystal award rests in front of you, catching the afternoon light. Your name is engraved beneath the words Employee of the Year. You run a thumb across the smooth glass, waiting for pride to arrive. It never does. Your reflection stares back from the black window, overlooking a city that refuses to stop moving. Thousands of tiny headlights crawl through the streets below like blood flowing through an enormous heart. Somewhere inside that maze, another alarm clock is already waiting for tomorrow. Your phone vibrates. One message appears. Are you living or simply surviving? The screen fades before you answer. Everything changes because of that question. Months earlier. Level 1, empty victory. Morning arrives before the sun. Your alarm slices through the darkness, and your hand reaches for the phone before your eyes fully open. Emails have already collected overnight. Meetings fill every empty space on your calendar. Coffee replaces breakfast while your tie hangs across one shoulder. The front door closes before the neighborhood begins waking. The train is already crowded. Every face points toward another workday, glowing blue beneath phone screens. Nobody speaks. Shoes shuffle. Stations blur together until the office tower rises above every surrounding building like a monument to ambition. Inside, elevators climb without hesitation. Floors disappear beneath your feet until the doors open onto another day of deadlines, presentations, and polished smiles. Months pass inside conference rooms and airport terminals. Promotions arrive. Your paycheck grows. Friends congratulate you. Family members proudly tell neighbors about your success. Only your aging parent notices something different. During dinner, a plate cools between both of you. You laugh less, comes the quiet observation. You reach for another excuse instead of another bite. That night, your bedroom ceiling remains awake long after midnight. Morning comes too quickly. Level 2, golden cage. The apartment becomes larger. The mortgage becomes larger. The television becomes larger. The freedom becomes smaller. Every raise unlocks another payment. Every reward arrives with another responsibility tied around it like invisible rope. Weekends disappear beneath errands made necessary by a lifestyle built to celebrate success. Your partner begins eating dinner alone more often than together. One evening, candles burn low across the table before you finally unlock the front door. Cold food waits beneath foil. A handwritten note rests beside your plate. I miss the version of you who wasn't always busy. You fold the paper twice before placing it into a drawer. Weeks become months. Vacation photos fill social media while your own passport gathers dust inside a desk. You approve leave requests for everyone except yourself. One Monday morning, you stand inside the elevator lobby holding coffee that has already gone cold. The doors slide open. Everyone steps inside. Your feet refuse to move. For one impossible second, the elevator leaves without you. The silence feels louder than any meeting you've ever attended. An old friend calls that evening. You should see what life looks like outside the race. You almost laugh. Instead, you agree to meet. Level 3, first crack. The cafe sits on a quiet corner where nobody seems to be in a hurry. Steam curls from 2 untouched cups while rain taps softly against the windows. Your friend arrives wearing simple clothes instead of expensive labels, yet carries a calm you haven't seen in years. You ask the question that has been sitting in your chest since accepting the invitation. What do you do now? A smile appears. Whatever matters today. The answer frustrates you because it sounds impossible. Instead of describing millions in revenue or luxury vacations, your friend talks about slow mornings, family breakfasts, meaningful work, and choosing when the day begins. Every sentence feels ordinary, yet somehow richer than every achievement hanging on your office wall. Before leaving, your friend slides a notebook across the table. Write one thing you would build if nobody could judge you. That night, the blank page stares back at you. Minutes become hours. At last, a single sentence appears. You don't write a job title. You write a life. The next evening, while the city sleeps, your dining table becomes your first office. A laptop glows beneath a single lamp. Ideas replace television. Curiosity replaces exhaustion. Every small step feels clumsy, but every click belongs to you instead of someone else. Weeks pass. Days belong to your employer. Nights belong to your dream. Nobody notices the double life except your partner, who quietly places a fresh cup of coffee beside your laptop before going to bed. No speech. No questions. Just silent belief. One evening, your friend sends another message. Don't chase money. Build freedom. You read it 3 times before closing the screen. The following Monday, your manager asks everyone where they see themselves in 5 years. For the first time, you don't know the answer. Level 4, Hidden Sacrifices. The clock reaches midnight more often than you realize. Your office badge still opens one building every morning, while your growing business quietly opens another future every night. Your calendar becomes impossible. Meetings fill daylight. Learning fills darkness. Sleep hides somewhere in between. The mirror begins revealing details nobody else mentions. Shadows settle beneath your eyes. Coffee replaces rest. Weekends disappear beneath spreadsheets, customer emails, and plans scribbled across notebooks balanced on the kitchen counter. Your partner starts carrying conversations you no longer have time to finish. Laundry folds itself without your help. Family gatherings happen without your presence. Birthdays become video calls instead of hugs. One evening, you arrive home carrying another laptop and another promise that work will slow down soon. Instead of complaining, your partner places an old photograph on the table. Both of you are laughing. Neither of you is holding a phone. Neither of you is checking the time. You stare at the picture longer than expected. Freedom, you realize, isn't only something you're building for yourself. It's something you're trying to give back to the people still waiting for you. The next morning, an unexpected email appears. Please report to my office at 9 a.m. No explanation. No subject line. Just a time. The elevator suddenly feels much slower than usual. Level 5, Final Decision. 9 o'clock arrives with unsettling precision. The second hand reaches the top of the clock as you stand outside your manager's office. Through the glass wall, awards line polished shelves. Framed certificates cover the walls like trophies from battles already won. Your reflection appears between them, dressed for another ordinary Monday that no longer feels ordinary. Come in. The door closes behind you with a quiet click. A folder slides across the desk. Inside is everything you once dreamed of: a promotion, a larger office, a salary that would make your younger self speechless, and a title that would finally place your name among the company's senior leaders. Months ago, you would have signed before the ink dried. Today, your hand doesn't move. Your manager mistakes your silence for surprise. You've earned this. The words land gently, but something inside you refuses to celebrate. You ask for one day to think. Walking home, the city feels unfamiliar. Glass towers reflect the afternoon sun, and people hurry across crowded sidewalks as if every second has been sold to someone else. For the first time, you notice how many faces never look up. That evening, you visit your parent. The old house hasn't changed. The clock still ticks above the fireplace. Family photographs still cover the hallway. Time has left wrinkles, but it has also left wisdom. You place the promotion letter on the table. I should be happy. Your parent studies your face instead of the paper. When you were little, comes the gentle reply. You never said you wanted a corner office. Silence settles between both of you. You said you wanted a life you wouldn't have to escape from. The room suddenly feels larger. On the walk home, every traffic light seems to ask the same question. Keep climbing, or start living. Morning returns. You dress as usual. You polish your shoes. You straighten your tie. Then you place a different envelope inside your briefcase. Your resignation. The office buzzes with ordinary conversations. Printers hum. Phones ring. Keyboards chatter across open workstations. Nobody realizes this is the last time you'll hear those sounds as an employee. You step into your manager's office. The promotion letter remains on the desk. You quietly place your own envelope beside it. Your thumb lingers for one final moment. Then you let go. The room becomes perfectly still. Level 6, Free Fall. The first Monday without an office feels strangely quiet. No alarm drags you awake. No train waits at the station. No inbox demands immediate attention. Morning sunlight reaches your kitchen before you finish your first cup of coffee. The silence feels peaceful for exactly 3 days. By the fourth, it begins asking difficult questions. Your savings account becomes your new employer. Every purchase suddenly matters. You hesitate before filling the car with fuel. You compare grocery prices for the first time in years. The dining table transforms into headquarters. Receipts cover one corner. Ideas fill another. A calendar hangs nearby with every deadline written in thick black ink. Some days bring new clients. Other days bring only refreshing the email inbox and hoping something changes. Weeks pass. The excitement of freedom collides with the reality of uncertainty. One afternoon, you stare at your bank balance until the numbers blur. It has fallen below the line you once promised yourself you would never cross. Your chest tightens. For a brief moment, the executive office, guaranteed paycheck, and predictable routine seem almost irresistible. You call your mentor. I think I made a mistake. The answer comes without hesitation. No. A pause follows. You're simply paying the price most people refuse to pay. The call ends. No rescue arrives. No miracle appears. Only another sunrise. So you begin again. You improve your work. You reach out to new clients. You learn skills you once paid others to perform. You make mistakes. You fix them. You wake earlier than ever, not because a company expects it, but because your future depends on it. Slowly, tiny victories begin replacing daily panic. A satisfied client recommends another. A second project becomes 5. Invoices that once arrived monthly begin arriving weekly. Hope quietly returns, not as excitement, but as consistency. Then, late one evening, while reviewing your accounts, a notification appears on your screen. A company far larger than any you've ever worked with wants to schedule a meeting. The opportunity could change everything, or take everything away. You close the laptop. Outside, dawn is already beginning to color the horizon. Level 7, quiet growth. The meeting begins with a simple handshake. No towering boardroom. No polished presentation. Just a wooden table, 2 notebooks, and a conversation about solving real problems instead of impressing shareholders. You leave with your biggest contract yet. Not because you promised everything. Because you promised only what you could deliver. The months that follow look nothing like overnight success. You build systems instead of chasing emergencies. You protect your mornings instead of surrendering them. You hire your first employee, remembering the nervous version of yourself that once waited for permission before making every decision. Instead of demanding perfection, you offer patience. Instead of measuring hours, you measure results. The business begins running without needing every minute of your attention. For the first time in years, you finish work before sunset. Your calendar still fills, but this time with school events, family dinners, long walks, and conversations that don't end because someone scheduled another meeting. Freedom doesn't arrive like fireworks. It arrives quietly, one ordinary afternoon at a time. Then another opportunity appears. A larger company offers to buy your business. The number on the page is enough to change your life. But hidden between the lines is one condition. You would lose control of the life you fought so hard to build. You fold the offer. This time, you don't rush your answer. Level 8, silent success. The world keeps celebrating promotions. Former coworkers post photographs beside new office doors. Executive titles gather hundreds of congratulations. You quietly plant tomatoes in your backyard before your first meeting of the day. Nobody applauds that. You attend your child's school performance without checking your phone once. Nobody writes an article about that. You have breakfast with your partner on a Tuesday morning simply because you can. Nobody notices. Then one afternoon, a message arrives from someone you haven't heard from in years. A former coworker. I heard you disappeared. You smile. You didn't disappear. You simply stopped living where everyone else was looking. Days later, news spreads through your old company. Layoffs. Entire departments vanish before lunch. Names you recognize fill the announcement. People who once believed their jobs were permanent suddenly carry cardboard boxes through the same lobby where promotions were once celebrated. You remember the elevator that almost trapped your future. For the first time, gratitude feels deeper than victory. Not because you escaped, because you chose to leave before someone else made the choice for you. Still, one final test remains. Level 9, ultimate choice. Your phone rings early Monday morning. A familiar voice introduces an offer that feels almost unreal. An executive position. More money than you've ever earned. Prestige. Influence. Security. Everything you once believed defined success. You agree to review the proposal. That evening, the documents sit unopened beside your coffee. Your child walks into the room carrying a drawing. In the picture, 2 people stand beneath a bright sun. One figure is much smaller. The other is holding a hand. That's us, comes the cheerful explanation. You don't miss dinner anymore. The room falls completely silent. You look at the contract, then at the drawing. One promises status. The other quietly reminds you what freedom already looks like. You close the folder without signing a single page. The next morning, you step outside just as the first light reaches the street. The air feels different. Not because the world changed, because you did. Level 10, True Freedom. Years pass without announcing themselves. Gray begins appearing where dark hair once lived. The business grows steadily, but no longer defines your identity. Some mornings begin with work. Others begin with a walk before sunrise, coffee on the porch, or laughter drifting from the kitchen. You finally learn that time is the only wealth that never returns once spent. Money bought comfort. Discipline bought freedom. Purpose bought peace. People still ask why you left such a successful career. You simply smile. Some journeys can never be explained to someone still running. One evening, you find the Crystal Award packed inside an old moving box. The words Employee of the Year still shine beneath a thin layer of dust. You place it on a shelf in your office, not as a reminder of what you achieved, but of what you chose to leave behind. It no longer represents success. It represents the moment you realize success without freedom is simply another cage. Outside, the neighborhood grows quiet. Children ride bicycles without watching the clock. A cool breeze carries the scent of freshly cut grass across the yard. Your partner joins you on the porch without saying a word. Nothing needs explaining anymore. The silence is no longer empty. It is earned. Morning arrives without an alarm. Sunlight spills across the floor before your coffee finishes brewing. No train is waiting. No meeting is beginning. No invisible finish line is calling your name. Only another day that belongs completely to you. You think back to the person who believed life was a race that could only be won by running faster than everyone else. You barely recognize that version anymore. Nobody noticed when you finally escaped the rat race. The traffic kept moving. The elevators kept climbing. The meetings kept starting. The world carried on exactly as before. But one life changed forever. Yours. And without looking back, you keep walking.